Hello and welcome to Dancers Support Mission by Sabine Chaland for Shine Your Light. Today we have a new episode of Dancer to Dancer, Words of Wisdom. And the goal of those interviews is to meet the person behind the dancer and share with you all not only the highlights of someone's career, but also the challenges behind the scenes. Truly, my wish is to bring healing into the dance world, dancing to heal, healing to dance. One artist at a time and one personal story at a time. Hopefully this will allow you to embark or reflect on your own personal journey, inspired by other people's experiences. So today I'm delighted to welcome my very good friend, Anna Seidl. Anna, thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today, and welcome.
Thank you, Sabine. Thank you for inviting me for this interview. And I'm curious what your questions are going to be like.
So, Anna, we know each other for 30 years, I think.
I think, wow, more than that even, Sabine.
Yeah, a little bit more, because I started in 1990 at the Dutch National, and you were already there. So we have a long history of friendship, and we've seen each other in all our ups and downs. So it's, I think we can say we know each other pretty well.
Absolutely.
So welcome to this interview. And, so I'm going to ask you what I ask every other guest is, we want to know a little bit about your story and about everything that was behind the scene, not the Anna Seidl that was the star on stage, so could you tell us when you started to dance, at what age, where, how did it go, and when was the time where you chose to actually do it as a profession?
Mm-hmm. Well, I come from Germany. I come from Munich, and I remember this. I think I was about 7 that I saw a classical performance in the big theater. So Munich theater is really like the Paris opera, like golden and red velvet. And so I remember this and I thought this is fantastic. And then I joined a private ballet school, and via I heard that there is an audition for the Ballet Academy, so that was state financed, and that would go then into like serious stuff. Mm-hmm. So that was when I was 9, and then I also again an audition, and you had to open your legs, and you had to show your arch, and you had to show, it was just like an athlete. You were checked, like everybody does this, and then they said yes, you are taken. So that was from 9 years on. And when you asked me from what the moment was that I knew that this would be my profession, I think because the criteria was so severe, and because they gave you the feeling you are one of the few chosen ones, that was it already. So that was not, already from that moment on, it was not a hobby that I did. It was with the intention to become a dancer. So I never doubted this. The doubt came only later, actually too late to be able to step out again.
What kind of doubt?
There was the doubt once I had started off in the company in Munich. I felt like I don't know if this is really my world. It was too fast for me. I was slow learning parts. I needed more time. I was very tall. It took me also a time to technically that I could do stuff. And at the same time, I doubted this, but at the same time, they always kept back and said, kept telling me what an incredible physical talent I am. I have this, like, you can't stop. You got this talent, and you have a responsibility that you do something with this talent. So
how did that feel?
Sorry, how did that
feel?
Well, it was such an ambivalent feeling, because on the one hand, I would love to turn on music in my bedroom and dance for myself. It was somehow, and that's now when I think back, why did I actually dance? Was it just that everybody told me you have a physical talent, or was there something genuine me that made me do it? And when I think back, those moments in my bedroom when I put on a record player and I would just move, it was a way to be able to express myself, what I could not verbally. I was very, very shy, and I had really difficulties to, like now also, to speak. So the physical language and something that I felt in the music also expressed a sort of melancholy that I felt, or I wasn't very joyful one. I was always on the sad. Yeah, I felt there was something that I needed to express and come out. And what I didn't like, that when I entered the professional scene, all that extra stress, pressure, that took away from my initial feeling of wanting to express myself, because then it came in also the doubt, oh, that what you do is maybe not good, but this is me. And that I struggled with quite a lot, like a lot of self-doubt and a lot of, to fulfill a physical talent, but it needs more to be a good dancer than physical talent. And I have the feeling I could not really live up to the expectations.
Okay, so would you say that this was your biggest challenge as a dancer, both as a student and as a ballet dancer, professional ballet dancer?
Yeah, to struggle with that, what I knew I could do, but because I was very insecure, that I was so highly self-conscious what I all could not do, instead of also feeling good about maybe what I had, maybe a talent, maybe a wish to dance, maybe
or even acknowledging what other people were seeing in you, right?
Yeah, but I had also the feeling that the real me were only at a few moments on stage that I could get that over, bring that over. And those were the moments. I think I had a quite long career, professional career, but those were the moments what made me also go through all the crises that I felt that I had. Also that with the age, like you get nervous more instead of getting less nervous. There was a period where I thought I can conquer the world and I can do evening performance of Sleeping Beauty and a matinee performance of Beauty. My body was great, but there was always in the back this doubt that shot in again, and it froze me, and it made me frightened, and it made me
your little demons.
Do I really want to have those emotions of doubt so terribly strong that it's.
So did that change when you stopped dancing?
No. No, I have other. Unfortunately, no. And it's something that I think now it's a pity, because it ruined also a lot for me. If I would have felt a little bit more good about myself, it wouldn't have cost me so much, self-hate.
What do you think could have helped you with that? Like.
Oh, like I would have had somebody would have needed to take my hand and say I'm wonderful every day, like a warm bathtub, and you don't get this. I would have needed a lot more care, or at least a place where I could express my fears and talk to somebody about it. And I felt like in companies, we all know you have the program you have to do, and I was also like a machine. I continued, and probably nobody would know all those doubts, because I can be very, I'm going and I'm very disciplined, and so it's also hard to get to me. So it was not like, oh, I'm falling apart, and then people would say, oh, can I help you? But I was functioning. I functioned. And
so if somebody, right now who is dancing is feeling exactly like you, but he's holding on really strong and going for it, what advice would you give that person?
Maybe the first, also to let that vulnerability welcome it and face it, and don't think it's a weakness of you. I have to and then you counterbalance it by coming across even more rigid and stronger, and let it be there. And I think also then people will talk to you. And I miss talking to people. I miss talking to also colleagues who also probably feel frightened to death or have those doubts, or ballet masters, or even the direction, or to connect and to talk and to share and to feel like we are all in the same boat. It's not so cold, and it's not so. This would have maybe helped me.
Yeah, it's beautiful because this still prevails very much. Like, everybody thinks they have to be superhuman, in a ballet company where.
Yeah, it's also a little bit the myths about dancers also, that they are so strong and they can dance even with high fever, and they go through with injuries. It's also, the more injured you are and the more you push it through, then the more you are admired. Although you have a broken leg, you continue.
Basically. Yeah, this has changed. It's changing somehow, but there's still the core of it is still there very much, is that, if you do not continue, someone else is going to be there to take your place, basically,
Yes.
And it goes really fast.
It would be nice if the communication, and by that I don't mean only verbally, but how you approach things, how a little bit milder, a little bit less hard, fast, competitive. And now that the virtuosity is so high, it goes, dancers can do, everybody can now do like triple fouettes, and this was in my time. If you could pull in a double fouette somewhere, it was already wow. It got so much faster, it got so much better, it got so much more brilliant. Mm-hmm. So I wonder how at the same time you can slow down. It seems like, I don't know, I'm so out so long, but it seems still so high energy.
Yeah, rather than slow down, I would say, connect to your humanness, right? You're still a human being. You have feelings, you have emotions, you have, you're multi-layered, and if you just discard that and you pretend it's not there because all you have to do is perform,
yeah. And I think what I think, in companies it would not be bad to have sometimes talking sessions, to just come together and just and talk about how you're doing, how do you feel at the moment, and I'm sure something would come and it would connect people.
Yeah, I think this is a very, because I believe that too, but when you are at the height of your career and you're like dancing full on, and you're in this state of you're in full on in your ego, and you have to really use it to perform, to shine, to be bright, and you don't want to show your vulnerability because it's too tender,
Yeah, but at the same time, I also do think we are all touched if we see also some vulnerability also on stage. If somebody shakes a little bit off it, but it's honest, it's authentic. It doesn't need to be all so polished. The audience also is human and also wants to see humans and not superhumans.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you, but it needs some time because it's like it has to come from a need and from experience, what I've seen and what I've been through myself. As a younger dancer and as a younger human being, it's the same thing. You don't feel the need to do that. You are into your own tunnel vision, and then you go. You know what I mean? So. And it's normal, you need your own experiences. And after you've had your experiences, then you can reflect upon it.
I wonder if really everybody is so like, go, 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 yes. Mm-hmm. But it's for everybody. We are all struggling with the same stuff. So
yes, but some people are not ready to see it, and it wouldn't be possible,
Well, I wonder if it's obligatory to meet like once a month in a session, intervention. Let's
Obligatory
call it
already.
intervention. Yes. And then they're sitting there and they're really impatient because dancers would much rather rehearse and not sit down and talk. But I'm sure something would come out of it, and something would get started, and dancers who are inhibited to speak would have to say something, and already that would open up a new side in yourself. And how can I communicate with words instead of with my body, and bring another dimension into it?
Yeah, you should start that project.
Yeah. Also, let's say we do a singing class. This is terrible. I did a voice thing. I have a terrible voice, but I felt like singing was so showing a vulnerable side of yourself. It was terrible. I felt like I was undressing myself. Mm-hmm. And it's all an experience that I think dance would benefit from.
Yeah.
This different shades of yourself, and not just this kind of tunnel going, beating your body.
I agree. So, but let's come back to you. So after you started your career in Munich, and then what did you do? What happened?
And then, what was it then? Oh yeah, and then I thought I should not do my schooling there and should stay in the company. So I should broaden my horizon. And then one principal dancer from Munich, he went to the National Ballet, Dutch National Ballet. And he said, they have tall dancers, why don't you come? So I thought, okay, I'll go. And then I did a little audition, which was only a bar. And because Saturdays we only had bar. And then I was called in Rudy van Danzig's office. And then he said, you got a contract? And I said, as what? He said, I mean, and then he said, quarter ballet. And I said, don't you have something better to offer? Yeah, I mean, talking about insecurity and talking about mask. So he said, no, but you will climb the ladder. And I said, okay. And then I moved into a hotel for 2 years because I didn't know if I didn't want it to stop dancing. So I lived here in the most touristic place on the Rembrandtplein, where all the tourists sat for 2 years in a kind of hotel situation with a suitcase. And because so any second I could have gone back home. And then sort of I got stuck here.
And how long did you stay with the Dutch National Ballet?
I was there 20 years. 20 years.
Wow.
And then I had, at the very end, I had, I think, 3 directors. Mm-hmm. And at the end, I felt I started to get interest. And this wasn't the point, but something in my mind changed. I started to doubt if I still want to do it. I started to get injured. I couldn't work through the injuries. I didn't want to. I had my son. And I thought I need intellectual stimulants. So I'd taken some classes at the university and I loved it. So, and then it was always the question, can I manage to run to the university with my schedules? And then I realized, where am I rather, at the rehearsal at the university? And then soon the shift came towards the university. And then I joined a full program, studied bachelor's program. And then it was very strange because I would have finished my 20-year season in August or July. And I think it was around Christmas. And I had serious doubt if I can finish this season. I thought, I don't want anymore. And everybody said, no, it's a phase. You have to finish off. You cannot stop a career in the middle without anything. I said, I don't want anymore. And I remember it was, I think, Argonne premiere, and I should do it. And I felt like my Achilles, and I don't want to. And then I sat there, and it was 8:00. Performance started, and I thought, I should have been on stage. Do I feel upset? Do I feel like crying? And I thought, no, I'm actually happy. I don't have to do it. It was so strange. It was over. And then I stopped and I said to my director, he was super nice, Ted Brunson. I said to him, I can't finish the season. He said, yeah, but you should have a goodbye performance. I said, I don't want to stay in shape for another half year. So he said, yeah, but you need some kind of goodbye. And then I said, okay, let's do it in London. The company had a guest performance in London. I finish it here, but promise me, don't tell anybody. So I finished off with a little pas de deux there, and that was it. And then everybody warned me, you will wake up one morning and you will deeply regret this decision. Never did. I don't know, I was ready.
Yeah.
And yeah, so highlights were also why was London special for me, because I performed quite a lot in English National. I was there for a while, every year guest artist. So I did the productions there. I did really big stages, so like Colosseum, Festival Hall. It was full. It was done. I was done with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But,
so if you think, like, I mean, apart from the talking session, the singing and everything else, is there anything that, you think could be bettered in the way we teach ballet?
How you teach ballet?
Yeah, in school, how people are being.
Yeah. I think I'm often thinking about it, because to be able to get your body trained that way, you need to work really, really hard. But I wonder if the language which is used to improve your technique, like you need to push, you need to, gives a certain mental image. So like you need to push your Arab, push, that word already, that is
never enough.
I wonder if a different kind of vocabulary, a different rhetorics would make it milder and would actually make your body work better instead of
I had an interview with Claire Gus West, actually, who is doing just that, and she's teaching that to teachers, and she's doing that with the Finnish ballet, actually, where she goes and teach the ballet masters and the teachers and also the dancers on how to, with imagery work and mental, how you address something instead of, go against a wall, maybe just open up the field for...
Yeah, because I wonder when we had those old Russian teacher stars coming, and they could do something. They could get your body already after the bar. You felt something happen, and I was always wondering, what is it? What communicates to you? What you take? Mm-hmm. It's not their perfect turnout, because they're sometimes really old, and it's something, a combination in
And the how organic it is all, right? Sometimes.
Yeah. And now if I say Russian, that's of course the old school. That's not very modest in how the use of language, but you take more in, like when you say imagery, I do believe that voice is also important, like, there's probably...
No, and the language, like basically telling someone that it's never enough and they have to work much harder when they're already sweating and being all red, it's like, how hard do you need, I mean, what?
I think at this point, when it's red and sweat, you can work on something else besides like push harder.
Yeah, but that there's a lot of, there's a lot
movement
of...
already. Okay, that's good.
It has to be. But I mean, not everybody is open to that work either, right? Because a lot of people who've been, don't want to start again when they've had 40 years experience. They go like, what is this thing with imagery?
Yeah, but it's like a system, especially the classical dance world. It's a system, and it's very difficult to change a system from, like, you need an irritation from the outside that everything starts to move.
Yeah,
the question
like the
is
world right now.
yeah. But if the world will irritate the isolated ballet system is the question.
Yeah, well, I believe a lot of people, are starting new things and they try, but it will take time, and and it will come from the new generation up, you know, it won't come from down from the people who were there already. So this the most important is for us to have ideas, you know, and just voice them, so, you know, something can come out of that.
Yeah, but that's your task, Sabine.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, absolutely. But I realized that this is not some, you know, when you say, for example, you know, obligatory, everybody comes in the studio and we talk, you know, and this is the point. This is something that needs to come organically, and that's why it will come through some people who are into that work, who need it, and they can really, you know, blossom through it, because you cannot force anybody to do this.
No, it has to be very organic. Yeah, you're right.
So, you know, it goes slowly usually.
Yeah.
Okay, Anna, can you tell me how those two really crazy COVID years were for you, you know, like emotionally, mentally, physically, you know, what happened? How did you experience them?
Well, I mean, first of all, I have nothing to do with dance and ballet anymore. I go and see performances, but there's still this thing where you get irritated when your body is like sort of not functioning the way you want it. So in the COVID time, because I'm usually living outside, I'm never at home. I hate to sit at home. I was always teaching at the university. So for me, this was very difficult. And it was, you know, I thought if I forced myself, I saw my son could deal with it much better than me. And I was teaching online, and I felt that the students needed my help and didn't need me to complain about COVID, but like trying to make it. So I had what I realized, I had a very intense relationship with my students online. And as much as like when they are live, they skip classes, they were all there all the time. We had really like a sort of community building. And in the beginning, it was also not so popular yet to turn off the background. So we started to know each other's homes, and very different than in normal times, much more personal. So I really appreciated this work. And until then also was written in fitness studio, and I had to push through my body, and then that was not possible. And then I discovered, you know, I can just as well do my yoga here at home. I loved it. So I never entered back in the fitness studio. So I have my yoga mat here, and I'm doing every morning religiously. I'm doing my 45 minutes. And if I don't do it, I still feel guilty. And no, you know, here in Holland, we had very up and down. First, we were much more open than everybody else. And then when everybody else started to open up again, it was really a very long, very hard lockdown here. And somehow you adjust to everything. And now I can't even remember anymore. What was it like and how long was it? But when you're in it, it was so absolute. You thought it will never stop, and it can never, you never meet people anymore. So yeah, it's like you realize how easy it is also to adapt.
Yeah, how resilient we can be, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, to wrap this up a little bit, I would like you to, I mean, you've already said a lot of things, but if you could pick, you know, what would be one advice that you would give to a young dancer that is starting their career, you know, now? What would that be?
I would say you are a treasure, and never forget this. And that you want to dance, that's the most important, and that you should caress. And everything else, try not to let you influence from that too much. Like that urge to dance and the need to dance and the feeling for dance, never forget and never doubt that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, Anna, thank you so much for your time and for your beautiful talking. I'm just going to say
thank you for asking me, Sabine. Namaste. And do your work now. Go out in the world and do your work and change it.
I will. Thank you.
Okay.